Saffron Fraud. The Botanical Adulterants Prevention Program has published a new bulletin on saffron and saffron extracts. Their aim is to provide timely information on issues of adulteration, including the occurrence of adulteration, the potential consequences, and the overall market situation for saffron. Here's what you need to know. As always, there is a link to the full report in the email. Saffron, the spice, is the dried stigma, which is part of the flower of saffron, the plant, which is its Latin name is Crocus sativus. You can see the red stigmas in the picture in the email. Genuine saffron is harvested by hand. It's highly prized for its colour and flavour, and it's very expensive. In fact, it's the most expensive spice and costs between $1,100 and $11,000 per kilogram. The international saffron market was worth $430 million in 2018. Saffron trade is complicated. Saffron's most important growing areas are in Iran, Greece, Morocco, and India. Afghanistan and Spain are also important sources of saffron. But saffron labelled Spanish is mostly grown in other countries and packed in Spain. Iran accounts for global production at about 90 to 93% of global production, but it only accounts for 40% of direct global exports, according to the report, which is really confusing, and apparently that's because the Iranian saffron is being resold by other countries. With so much of its production in one country, that's Iran, and with a short harvesting season, saffron supply is really vulnerable to extreme weather events. For example, there was a tripling of saffron prices from 2006 to 2009 because of heavy frost in Iran in 2007. Climate change is a threat, with increased moisture in some areas leading to more fungal plant diseases and drought in other areas limiting yields. Let's talk about saffron fraud. It is one of the most frequently adulterated foods, and powdered saffron is more at risk than whole saffron. The biggest food safety issue with saffron fraud is probably the use of synthetic dyes to boost the colour of fraudulent whole saffron or saffron powder. Sudan dyes 1 to 4 and rhodamine B dyes have been found in saffron, and both of those, or all of those dyes, are considered potentially genotoxic and carcinogenic. Here is a list of some of the adulterants that are added to whole saffron to fraudulently increase its value. Parts of saffron flowers, including the yellow style and the white style, remembering it's the stigma that is the authentic saffron part. Filaments from other plants, including corn fibres, safflower stigmas, calendula stigmas, and pomegranate fruit fibres. Filaments from other non-food sources, including silk. Adulterant filaments may be dyed with plant dyes, including beetroot, pomegranate, and fruit peel dyes. Liquids have been added to increase the weight, and those liquids include oils, glycerin, and honey. And dyes and aroma compounds are also added, and I'll list them shortly. So here are a list of adulterants in saffron powder: turmeric powder, paprika powder, ground seeds of sweet fennel or annatto, dried marigold flowers, gardenia or Cape jasmine extract, which are added for their quercetin esters, which are also in saffron, natural dyes from flowers and roots, artificial dyes including erythrocene, Ponceau 4R, tartrazine, Sudan dyes, magenta 3 and rhodamine B, and saffronal, which is a synthetic aroma compound that mimics the aroma of saffron. Historically, there are reports of fillers that are added for increasing saffron powder weight, and those historical fillers include chalk, gypsum, and a thing called heavy spar, which is barium sulfate. Other types of fraud, so non-adulteration type saffron frauds, include selling Philippine saffron or saffron flowers as if they are real Crocus sativus, but instead they are safflower, or I think they're known as kasuba flowers. When exhausted saffron is sold as whole saffron, coloured paper shreds sold as saffron, yes, this actually happened, and provenance fraud in which the geographical origin of the saffron is misrepresented. Saffron testing. Testing is a challenge. Microscopic inspections can be done on powdered as well as on whole saffron, but they're time-consuming and expensive. In addition, visual examinations won't necessarily recognise adulteration with colorants or saffronel. Some DNA-based tests are going to struggle to differentiate safflower from saffron because the plants are quite closely related. And of course, DNA tests won't find additives like dyes or saffronel. Spectroscopic methods are used often. They're simple and quick, but they're not necessarily very sensitive, and they're not going to pick up all the adulterants that I've already mentioned. There are many other authenticity test methods, and each has got its own challenges. So the authors of the report recommend that a suite of complementary tests are used that will cover all the different types of adulteration and fraud on saffron. And provenance testing has been successfully done using stable isotope methods. So as always, I link to the report itself in the email, and within the report you will find sources for all of the different things that I've just mentioned as well.